this half hour, President-elect Donald Trump naming his former campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, as counselor to the president. I spoke with Kellyanne Conway yesterday and asked her how she would respond to the question of how she is going to be able to manage her family and a demanding job. Here's what she said.
I would say that I don't play golf, and I don't have a mistress, so I have a lot of time that a lot of these other men don't. I see people on the weekend, they spend an awful lot of time, you know, with their golf games, and that's their right, but the kids they'll be with me. We live in the same house, and they come first.
Joining me right now is ABC News political commentator and author of the new book, Ladies of Liberty, The Women Who Shaped Our Nation. Cokie Roberts is with us right now. Cokie, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Nice to see you, Maria. Happy Christmas.
And to you, congratulations on the book. Before we get into the book, what's your take on Kellyanne Conway's response there? Interesting how as soon as her job was announced, so many people, men, said, well, I don't know how she's going to do it. I mean, even on this program yesterday, people were saying, well, she's got 4 kids. Nobody ever questions that when it's a man who has 4 kids.
Right. That's right. And, you know, the last I heard, they were dads. I mean, it makes you completely crazy. And when Sarah Palin got all those questions when she was running for vice president, it was so unfair. And I think that that's true with Kellyanne Conway as well. And George W. Bush always said, don't drive my moms away, when he had moms in the White House, because they were the people who, you know, knew what was going on in the world. And you get rid of the moms, and you're surrounded by a bunch of guys who have no connection to reality half the time.
Cokie, tell us about the book, Ladies of Liberty.
Well, it's about the women in the early time. I've written 2, Founding Mothers and Ladies of Liberty for grown-ups, and now 2 for children, wonderfully illustrated by the great Diane Good. And it's about some first ladies, like Louisa Catherine Adams, our only other first lady to be born outside the country. But it's also about some women you've never heard of, like probably Isabella Graham, who started along with Eliza Hamilton, who's become famous on Broadway, an orphanage in New York that is still there, not as an orphanage, but as a social service agency helping the children of New York some 200 years later, the Graham Wyndham.
Terrific.
So there are lots of great women in here. Sacagawea on the cover with her baby on her back, doing all the same things Lewis and Clark did, but having to do it with a baby on her back.
Morgan.
Cokie, it's such an honor to be on with you. I've been reading about your book online and great reviews, and people have been saying just how surprised they were at the number of women that were involved in our founding and just quietly behind the scenes. And so I was curious, what was the most surprising thing to you that you found out in your research about the women the first ladies and women who were involved?
Well, when I was doing the research initially, I was surprised to see how incredibly political they were. They were very, very dedicated to the cause of America, even though they knew they would have no political rights and actually no legal rights. Married women could not own property. And just getting through the day, Maria, in the 18th century, early 19th century was tough. You know, no modern conveniences, but still they devoted so much of their time and energy to the idea of America before the Revolution, during the Revolution, and then afterwards to the creation and preservation of the country. You know, very soon we had the kind of horrible partisanship we see today and regionalism, and the country was in danger of falling apart. And it was the women who held it together, made the men come together, sit down, have a drink, behave, but also created the social safety net that caught the people who were not making it in this great new country. And so they were really remarkable in their ability to go into the public square, get things done for the betterment of the country as a whole.
Yeah.
Cokie, it's Tony Sayegh. Merry Christmas.
Hi.
And I would be very remiss if I didn't ask you to extend warm wishes to your husband, my former professor at GW, Steve Roberts, who remains a great friend and mentor. And happy holidays to your entire family. Yeah, a lot is being made about the fact that people are suggesting Kellyanne Conway has shattered a glass ceiling of sorts. Some people think it's almost a dig at Hillary Clinton, but didn't she really do so by being the first woman to spearhead a national presidential campaign successfully? Although we have had Valerie Jarrett in the West Wing occupying a very prominent place and Karen Hughes in the Bush administration, it does seem like there is something unique about Kellyanne Conway's position today in the administration.
Well, it's hard to say that. I mean, there have been a lot of women who have been very prominent in White Houses before this, but she has certainly been incredibly public in her representation of President-elect Trump. I mean, she has been really the person we've seen most on the air talking about him and taking his case to the public and doing it very effectively. You know, she's been around Washington for a very long time, and she's worked with Democratic pollsters. She knows a great deal about women in politics, and she knows the city well, and she's going to be totally comfortable in the White House, I'm sure. But look, it is tough. I mean, White Houses are hard places, and you know, people develop kind of a bunker mentality. It's us against them, starting with Abigail Adams, truthfully, and they you know, they stay too late, they eat cold pizza, they have this whole sense of, you know, we're in here doing the good, the true, and the right, and why are those people out there fussing at us? She'll have more groundedness than that, I think, because she does go home to those 4 kids.
Yeah, you make a great point. Cokie, great to hear from you. Thanks so much.
All right, good to be with you. Merry Christmas to you all.
We'll see you soon. Merry Christmas. Cokie Roberts joining us there.